Good morning, everyone. A good day, I should say.
Good day.
Good morning.
Like to welcome you all to BVI Market Connect Reloaded. This is 2.0. So basically, today we are having our German office or German representatives, which is Travel Market in Romberg. They're going to give a brief presentation focusing on dealing with the travel intermediaries like tour operators, tour operators, as well as travel agents, and touching a little bit on even on the travel media and so forth. So without any further ado, I will turn it over to my colleagues, Anka Hissen and Nina Mütter of our German office. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Wonderful, Keith. And thank you to everyone who's joining our presentation. So I'm just starting to open it. And well, as Keith mentioned, we would like to talk a little about the travel trade in Germany or in the German-speaking markets that we cover, because for our markets, the travel trade is really crucial. And that's why we would like to explain why and how you can best work with our trade partners. And as you can see, it's Anke and myself talking about this to you today. So Anke Hesen, as Keith mentioned, probably most of you know her because she is working for the BVI Tourist Board in Germany since more than 30 years now, and she's also in charge of the BVI reservation service that we have. Anke will talk a little more about it later for those of you who might not be familiar. And my name is Nina Meuter, and since 2 years I'm the account director working together with Anke for the BVI Tourist Board in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. So that's the 3 markets that we cover. And to start, I hand it over to Anke.
Thank you very much, Nina. So let's start about the importance of our markets. With around 100 million people in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, the German-speaking region is the largest source market in Europe and ranks number 2 in terms of travel spend. We have several reasons for this. We have a high purchasing power. We really have an above average income. Luckily, we have a stable economy and the strength of the Europe and the eagerness to travel. Traveling is so important for guests from our markets. And we see from our markets a lot of repeat business, which is good. But our guests from Germany, Austria, Switzerland, they are also very much interested to discover new destinations. If we have a look on the statistics on the right-hand side, what you can see is that we also expect for 2026 again an increase in volume of holiday trips and also the interest in long-haul travel. Let's have a look on our German-speaking traveler. We always talk about Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. We are very happy that our guests usually come and stay in the lovely BVI for 2 up to 3 weeks. It's a long travel, but they stay for usually a minimum of 2 weeks. The other good thing, which I think is really helpful from our markets, that they travel year round and a great interest in the shoulder season. And this is also something we really like to push, to bring people in November, to bring the guests in May, in June, up to July. The type of vacation, for sure, most of the travelers visit for sailing trips, but also with extensions on land. And this is something we really promote because there is a market and we can convince more people to stay for an extra week in the BVI. Let's have a look on the typical type of traveler. For sure, we see a lot of couples, but also groups of friends, families, and usually these groups are between 2 and up to 8 persons. And there is a willingness to spend money. The travelers really would like to travel to the BVI. It's an exceptional destination for them, so they accept higher costs than at home. And Germans, Austrian, Swiss people, they always plan their vacation budget. So this is really important to know. The relevance of the tour operators and travel agents. This is something really important in our markets. We still see the tour operators' revenue is still increasing. If you have a look on the statistics on the left-hand side, you see almost 40 billion euros as tour operator revenue. Also on the right-hand side, the sales development of the travel agencies. There we see 22 billion euros, also an increase from 2023 to 2024. So this is really good. And let's talk about the distinction between the tour operators and the travel agents. The tour operator purchases services and put them together in a package. And this package, they sell it under their name. For example, as you can see below, it can be Meyers Weltreisen, who is our most important partner in the German-speaking market, also Swiss, their tour and their tour deluxe, but also Nina will explain a little bit more about that a little later. And the tour operator, very important to understand, he is responsible for the entire trip, including the insolvency insurance. The travel agent is between the tour operator and the customer. And the travel agent or the travel agency is not responsible for the trip itself. It has access to the product portfolio of the tour operator. So to understand the distribution chain, product comes from the tour operator to the travel agents, and the travel agent sells it to the customer. So let's have a look on the tour operator. This is our main player, the head of their touristic. They choose a product. Then they, for example, they choose the BVI, then they set up the contract. They create the whole sales and the whole hotel information because they still work with a brochure and also with a website. And for sure, they have to build up that booking engine because it has to be booked. They pay the hotels and the partners, the DMCs, and whoever is involved directly. And another important thing is that the tour operators train and inform the travel agencies. This is really important to know. The travel agent, as I just mentioned, is trained on the products by the tour operator. And this travel agent presents and sells the product to the client. He books the entire package to the tour operator, and he communicates with the customer. He gets paid commission by the tour operator, and he's always interested to build up a very close relationship to his customer, so to make him a repeat customer. Okay. How to work best with these markets? A large percentage of bookings in the German-speaking travel industry are made through tour operators or travel agents. The travelers, they really want to be advised by an expert who really has the destination knowledge. It is very important, especially if it comes to long haul destinations. It's very important to meet the conditions for cooperation. The tour operator needs fixed rates to calculate prior, in advance. So he really needs the rates. And the other thing tour operator needs is the payment of a 15 up to 20% commission, because they also must earn money from the booking. Possibly again a word on the commission. The tour operator lists the properties, the product on their website or in the printed brochure. So this commission payment can also be seen or considered as an indirect form of a marketing expenditure. Being part of a tour operator's product portfolio, this means that all these agents in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland can sell the product. In general, yacht charter companies are also very important in our markets. Our German, Austrian, and Swiss travelers, they do not charter directly in the BVI. This is important to know. This means our yacht charter partners, they also work like a tour operator. We have travelers who also book their flights and accommodation together with the yacht charter as a package. Please keep in mind our BVI reservation service. The BVI reservation service is a USP compared to other tour sports services. We do not compete with the tour operators. We really support the tour operators. Since the product portfolio may be limited, we provide tour operators with access to additional partners, and we always assist with any questions or any concerns. We also support the yacht charter partners and assist their clients with stay on land. If a local partner, hotel, whoever, does not cooperate with the tour operator yet, then we check availability and connect the supplier in the BVI with the travel agent or with the consumer. So what is needed to work with the market? To start a relationship with the German-speaking tour operator or yacht charter company, you have to be prepared and willing to accept the conditions for cooperation with the tour operator. You can benefit from our variety of activities. We ensure that the travel agents have a great knowledge of the BVI through fan trips, webinars, newsletter. Nina, she will give you more examples afterwards. And we are very happy to be in close contact with you and always exchange news and updates. And we also recommend maintaining contact to your partners and provide regular updates and news. And yeah, Nina will take over now and give us some more ideas what we really do in the markets, and yeah, to have some ideas about it though. Thank you so much so far.
Yeah, we just continue a little bit to talk about the tour operator side. Anke explained the distribution chain with the tour operator selling the product and deciding on the product. And I just wanted to add to this that the important thing to keep in mind is that we have the European Package Travel Directive. It's European law, so not only in our German-speaking markets, but also in the EU, which makes the tour operator responsible for the travel package. And Anke mentioned that as a distinction between tour operator and travel agent already, but we just wanted to point out that this is not something the tour operator decided or chose. It's the European law. And so that's why, for example, they are asking you when contracting or when signing a contract to provide the total rate, because it's the law that the prices needs to be transparent for the customer and that no additional fees or taxes are allowed on site then. The price that the tour operator offers needs to be the price the customer pays. And of course, the tour operator wants to make sure that's the amount that you will charge him. The good thing in that regard is that a lot of travelers from our markets like to book with tour operators because for them it's a financial security because as mentioned, the responsibility is on the tour operator. Yeah, to give you an idea on the different sizes, you can see here the top 10 tour operators based on the turnover numbers. So the number 1 TUI is currently unfortunately not carrying BVI product. We are in constant contact with them, and we will continue talking to them. But Anke already mentioned the Der Tour group, which is the second largest one, and they are carrying different BVI product. And they also carried out a presentation for BVI partners in March. So if you're interested in receiving that presentation, we are able to share it again. But I already took parts of it as explanation and will show you today because yeah, as we said, it's a very important operator for us because first of all, they are covering not only our 3 markets, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, but also Netherlands, Scandinavia, Poland, and Czech Republic. And that means if you have a contract with the Der Tour group, it can be one country that you are in touch with. The other markets can access the product portfolio. So you would be able to be sold in all these different countries, which is a good thing. And Anke already showed the different catalog front pages. So they also have different brands. For example, Der Tour, Meyers Weltreisen. Meyers Weltreisen is actually carrying the most of BVI product. Different properties, the sailing products. We have Der Tour Deluxe, which is their luxury brand. All these 3 are located in the head office that you saw on the photo in Frankfurt. And then Crony and Hotelplan, the sales office, are located in Zurich, so in Switzerland. And if one of these brands is working with you as a BVI partner, the other brands can have access and can be sold. And the important thing to know about the Der Tour group is that they have a large network of travel agents in all our 3 markets. So basically, more or less, every travel agent has access to their product portfolio and can sell the BVI in that regard. So that's something I took out of the Der Touristik presentation to make clear again the conditions that they have as requirements for cooperation with them. They say, okay, first of all, you as hotel or service provider, of course, need to be willing to be offered in Europe. And then if you are, we could, of course, connect you with Der Touristik or any other tour operator. It's an example. And then they will create a contract with you. And as already mentioned, the rates need to be fixed as part of the contract. So all fees, all levies, everything needs to be included. And then they are just pointing out the pricing that they request is according to season and not to occupancy, again, because in advance they need to know the rate. And yeah, it doesn't matter at that point of time how the occupancy is, or of course nobody will know at that point of time. But they would also like to offer specials in low seasons. So they have some particular promotions that they do. So if you would like to be connected to them, they of course will explain that a little more detailed and make sure you are aware what they are talking about. Anke already mentioned the printed brochures. So in Germany, it's still not only the website that the tour operator and the travel agent is using. The tour operator and in this regard, Der Touristik, and each of their brand is producing a brochure that includes their product portfolio. So there's an exclusive catalog of, for example, Meyers Weltreisen, that one brand that we mentioned for the Caribbean. And all the partners that they carry are included in that paper version, and of course also online. That's why they request high-res images, product descriptions, to make sure the customer can read everything, have a look, and all the travel agents are able to hand out these brochures so that the customer who's interested in a BVI vacation can take his copy home and, yeah, reads through it, take a look at it, and hopefully decides to book. So Anke already mentioned also the booking. So the contract data, which is agreed, will be loaded into the sales system, and that's the system that the travel agent would use to book if they sell the BVI travel package. And then the payment upon arrival of clients, and they ask you for invoices and the option to pay via bank account. Okay, so we had a lot of input about conditions and requirements and whatever. And now we would like to focus on some examples, because usually that gives you a little more ideas of all the theoretical possibilities and of course the activities that we carry out. So the one part is the tour operator, the product portfolio, which we covered a lot now. The second part is the travel agent. And Anke already mentioned, of course, the tour operator is training the travel agent, but also we as BVI Tourist Board are making sure the travel agents know about the BVI, they receive destination knowledge. We are the people they can turn to if they have questions, if they are working on an itinerary for a client. And of course, we have different activities that help train them. One example would be FemTrips, and that's usually the one that works best. Of course, if an agent travels to the BVI and he explores everything, experiences everything. Of course, if he returns home, he can talk about it. He can easily sell. So here we have one photo as an example of a past FemTrip we supported. That was of Dare to Deluxe, the luxury brand of the Dare Tour group. And they were on an Explorer Journeys cruise that stops at Virgin Gorda. So we planned the day excursion for the group of travel agents, of course, to show them the island. They visited the bath, and yeah, that was one part of FemTrips. Usually because of budget reasons, we plan one FemTrip a year. But yeah, as I said, that's of course also an activity that the agents really think are useful. In addition, we also have training events in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. They are not as expensive as you can imagine, because we don't have them travel to the BVI, but usually they attend close to their office and close to their home. And one example you can see here in the middle, there was a cooking event in a cooking school. You can see Anke there. She did a presentation on the BVI together with a colleague who is representing St. Lucia and the St. Lucia Tourism Board in Germany. So we did a joint event to present both destinations together. And with the aprons wearing, you can imagine they did not only listen to the presentations, but they were also interacting and cooking a Caribbean meal. So that gave Anke time to network, to answer more questions. And that's always something that agents really appreciate. The third photo is an example of a whole day of BVI workshops that Anke carried out. That was together with a Caribbean tourism organization that we have in Germany, many different other Caribbean partners, and also the BVI Tourist Board are members. And that's to promote the Caribbean as one region and use joint forces. And here there was an example. They rented a river cruise ship that was traveling on the river for a whole day. And Anke carried out, I think, 6 presentations. So she really was able to talk to every travel agent that attended the event. And then they all stayed on board. They had dinner together. They slept on the ship. So we really had a lot of time to talk about the BVI and present the BVI. And that's something that we usually do together with other partners or on our own, depending on what the plans are for the year, more or less a few times throughout the year. Of course, in addition, we carry out the online trainings, the webinars, which are for everyone involved, not as time consuming as a live event, and not as expensive. So that's something we can easily carry out. We really like to do that. But because the travel agents receive so many invites of these online presentations, we like to, first of all, have at least one partner joining us, and also define a particular theme so that their agents know in advance if that's something that is relevant for their customers that they may not know about the BVI and would really like to learn. So the example we have chosen here, the first one was together with partners of the Caribbean Tourism Organization, and it was focusing on luxury travel in the Caribbean. The second webinar, which we selected here, was together with Dream Yacht Charter. So that's one of the partners who has also a sales office in Germany. They, of course, focused on the sailing and their product and marina, their part, and we focused on the potential island extension to offer the travel agents the idea to sell first the Dream Yacht Charter cruise and then have the clients stay in the BVI and have different options for accommodations, give some tips for restaurants and so on. And the third one here was together with the tour operator Meyers Weltreisen, we mentioned already a lot, and the yacht charter company Sailing Classics, because Meyers Weltreisen is also sailing the charter product in the BVI, and Sailing Classics is a German small charter company who is returning to the BVI with a few itineraries throughout January, February, and March next year. So we, of course, wanted to assist supporting the travel agents to be aware that that is a product which is, returning, and Meyers Weltreisen is selling it. We're in touch with a travel trade media as well. And of course, the travel agents all read the travel trade media in all three markets. So it's always good if BVI is included. And as you can see here, the photo that we used already for the cooking class. So we invited an editor for the FVW in Travel Talk, which is the most relevant German travel trade media, to the cooking event, who attended and wrote an article about it in the media. We always try to include some information, some news in trade newsletters. We have our own database of tour operators and travel agents who subscribe to our bi-monthly version. So feel free if you have anything to share which is relevant for the German-speaking travel trade. We are always happy to receive input that we can include. This version was again of the Caribbean Tourism Organization I already mentioned a few times. So they also have their own database for travel agents, and we once a year can include a BVI news here. Then at the beginning of the year, of course, it was very relevant for us to inform everybody about the new online entry. So we sent out a press release about it to the travel trade, which was published. And the webinar about the Sailing Classics that I just mentioned, we made sure that we promoted it in the travel media, in the newsletters of the travel trade, because of course we wanted to promote the webinar in advance and make the agents aware that we're carrying out that webinar. Another example I would like to share was the BVI Destination Special we had last year together with the trade media Counter for Neun. So that was like a really big online campaign for us that we provided a lot of input. We defined 12 different themes, and they created a microsite which was online for 12 months. And it was promoted in one of their newsletters at the beginning of January last year. And then, of course, we used that link and shared it in every conversation, in any training we did for travel agents, because it was a really good information source for the travel agents with very detailed BVI product, BVI inspiration. As it's in German, I'm just picking out some of the chapters here to let you know what the themes were. It was accommodation, it was restaurant and bars, water sports activities, island hopping, the culinary side of the BVI, sailing and yachting. So it was really, yeah, very helpful for the travel agents to have a look at the microsite. Then something that is in general usually always something that the tour operators like, and depending on budget, of course, we try to support them in activities like this. Last year, we carried out an online campaign together with the tour operator Atambo Tours. It's a smaller tour operators focusing on sustainable travel. And they are carrying BVI since many years already. They are selling it also. And because they were more focusing on the sailing product, they were really interested in promoting the island extension that, of course, we wanted to support as well. And that's why they created a BVI dedicated newsletter to their database of customers. And they accompanied it with a social media campaign. And the good thing was it resulted in BVI bookings. So we were very happy about that. Yeah, for the rest of the year, we have 2 more activities planned, and for sure there will be more coming next year. But for November, we have again a presentation together with the Caribbean Tourism Organization. So Anke will have a chance to present the BVI in a restaurant in Hamburg at an evening event to travel agents that are focused on luxury trips. And we will carry out a fem trip together with the luxury cruise company Star Clippers, who has a sales office and a sales manager in Germany. And we are inviting 6 travel agents who are already selling Star Clippers and feel they have clientele for the BVI. So we will show them at the beginning, we will show them Tortola, and then Star Clippers has an itinerary which starts in St. Martin and includes 4 of the BVI islands. So there's a stop at Norman Island, Joost van Dyke, Virgin Gorda, and Soper's Hole. So Tortola again, and we will make sure that the agents discover the BVI and get inspired so that they, when they return, can offer their clients not only the Star Clippers trip, but make ideas for them to extend that Star Clippers journey with a land stay at least one of the BVI islands. And then we found a survey which we thought was very interesting to see, because the artificial intelligence is developing. And the question probably is, how will it impact the travel trade? How will it impact the booking behavior in the different markets? And so we thought it was very interesting to see that in that survey, 76 of German travel agents said that they do not believe that AI can replace their jobs. And more or less summarized the explanation was that they think professional expertise and human contact are becoming even more valuable as demand for tailor-made services continue to grow in our markets. And that's, of course, is something that would be very good and relevant, because the BVI are sold as tailor-made travel in all our markets. So that was something we thought was very interesting. And then, as a bottom line, so to say, for our presentation, we just wanted to highlight these 4 messages: the importance of the tour operator and the travel agents in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Then that it's really crucial that you would meet the conditions for cooperation with tour operators, which we explained already. Educate and engage with travel agents. So through the support of the BVI Tourist Board activities, of course, I mentioned the variety that would be possible. And Anke also talked about it. The continuous communication with our trade partners and, of course, with us in Germany is something that we really appreciate and think is good, because if you have any updates, it's always good to know. It's always helpful. It gives us possibilities to include you in any trade newsletters and trainings. And yeah, so before we open the floor for questions, we just wanted to say well, Anke and I are here in Germany to connect you with our trade partners. We're open for joint activities. If there's anything you think or hoping to carry out, let us know. And yeah, first of all, if you're not working with anybody, any tour operator in Germany, and are interested in it, let us know, and we would love to connect you and support you so that you can start a cooperation. So, are there any questions for us?
For questions, you can place them in any question that you may have in the chat or raise your hand. As the case may be. Second. Well, I'm just going to repeat a few takeaways, and you can. Okay, Shireen Flack Charles. Okay, Shireen Flack Charles, welcome. Thank you for attending. You will have to put your comments in the chat, actually, as we haven't enabled the microphone. So, will you be able to do that, Shireen? Kim of the BVI Scuba Organization expressed her thanks. So you know that.
Thank you very much. We are in close contact with her, and nice work and great support. Also, thanks from our end.
Thank you.
Okay. Shireen, I don't know if are you in a position to send put something in the chat or even send something via WhatsApp to me? Okay, good. Okay, so Shireen's question is, what percentage of our visitors are from the German market? Okay, Shireen, that is unfortunately not a question that Germany can answer. And unfortunately, we are currently not in a position to answer. That's something that we want to, we're working on in terms of the tourism statistics return. So I can't put this one on Anka and Nina. They're working over there on our behalf, but in terms of the percentage, we don't have that. We don't have that information, unfortunately. We're hoping that we can be able to provide that information sometime soon, but I don't even have a timeline to give you. Hazel, you asked how many bookings do you receive annually? Are you talking about through the BVI reservation service? Is that what you're referring to?
That is correct.
So, Anka, maybe you can answer that one. That's right up your alley.
Yes. Possibly I have to explain it a little bit. We have, as I mentioned, I receive inquiries from guests, for example, would like to stay at, let's say, Long Beach Resort and Benedict's Bay Resort. This means for me, I'm in contact with the client, but I give the business to their touristic because we never take away any business from the tour operators. So just to understand for you that we very often are in contact with the tour operators, and then we give the business to the tour operators. The tour operators are not allowed to give us the exact statistics, but they give us the feedback that they see the bookings from our properties. So I have to give up some of my business. Same with the travel agencies. If a travel agent is already in contact with a hotel, I only help out. But to come back to your question, if we really talk about the reservation service, we have over 300 guests per year, in addition to the business from the yacht charter companies, which is the biggest part, from the tour operators, which is a lot of bookings, plus the travel agents, and I'm number 4. So I only cover these bookings which go between these very little individual properties who are not represented by the tour operators. So this means let's say 350 per year, which is a good number for this direct business, which is an extra top. And we are happy to have these clients because we are in very close exchange with these clients. And I think if we don't offer the service, then we will lose a lot of business because it's not that easy if you are not familiar with the BVI. For example, I have a booking. This lady, she stayed on 5 different islands in 3 weeks. So she really appreciated our assistant how to go from Tortola to Virgin Gorda to Anegada back to Jost van Dyke. And I love this. It's time intensive, but it's worth it. And I'm sure she will be happy. And we have a very high repeat business number.
Thank you very much, Anka. I have another question here. I think you addressed Hazel's question regarding how much you could say about the statistics from tour operators. But this is another question from Shireen Flax Charles. Does the training carried out by the German office to travel agents include travel agents and tour operators include the culture of the BVI and how German visitors should behave while in the territory, like managing expectations? So that's a question. You understand that question? It's related to another question that she asked below, but I'll repeat the question. Does the training carried out that you carry out in the German markets, German-speaking markets, through travel agents and tour operators include talking about the culture of the BVI and how visitors should behave or what they should expect on the ground in terms of interaction with the people here?
Possibly we could start to explain that every webinar we do is different. So usually it makes a big difference if we have end customers in the evening and if we have, let's say, 45 up to 60 minutes. If we have the travel agent, they have 30 minutes. And if we have a partner, then for example, with Star Clippers, the focus is on sailing. But we always try to cover aspects like, for example, food, things to do, to visit the distillery. But I think, Nina, you also have more things in mind.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to say, overall to answer, I would say yes. To give a short answer, but like Anke explained, it's always part of the whole presentation we carry out because, as I said, usually there is a particular theme that we pick in advance. But of course, we talk about the ways to meet locals, and that's actually something the Germans really would like to do while they are in the BVI. They don't want to travel to the BVI and just stay on their own in a big hotel, which they are not. But yeah, to give a short answer, I would say yes, we of course try to include this.
Okay, I would Kim, I see your question, but I'm just going to go, since we're on the subject, I'm going to go straight to the question from a follow-up question by Shireen, which says, which basically speaks to, we have had many bad experiences at the baths with German and other European visitors, mainly those who come on cruise ships, large or small.
Okay.
So I think that's where she's going on that in terms of how they interact with the locals. So that's where she was coming from in terms of that question.
Yeah, okay.
On the education or sensitization and culture.
I'm very sorry to hear that. That's nothing we're I don't know. I can probably only apologize for these people, but I have to add to that topic, of course, the bigger cruise ships and the companies that from Germany are coming to the BVI, they are also sold by the tour operators. But as Anke already mentioned, overall, the biggest part, and from our side that we count, are people who really stay at least overnight, at least one night, or even longer. And so we are focusing more on the sailors and then trying to bring the people to stay afterwards on land. And like I mentioned with for example, the Star Clippers fam trip, the idea we have, if they are on a cruise, we would like to make sure they come afterwards to the BVI and stay in a property. So yeah, yeah. I'm sorry really to hear that, but the cruise part is actually not something we are really concentrating on, because for the tour operators, they are also more interested in working and selling the activities and the accommodation and a longer stay in the BVI than just the day coming from a cruise ship and leaving in the evening.
I'm also really sorry hearing this, because usually for not the cruise ships, but for the other guests who come in on whatever it is, Star Clippers, Sea Cloud cruises, and all these size of boats, they contact us in advance, and they are very much interested to learn about the BVI, to hear about history, food, people, music. So they are really interested in your country. So I feel really sorry hearing it that people are rude at the bars. Sorry for that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for your response on that, ladies. Just want to, Kim from Horn Law and the BVI Scuba organization just indicated, I think this will be, Kim, I think this would be a direct reach out in terms of the best travel agents and tour operators for clients. She has obviously Corn Law, so that can accommodate up to 20 guests and so forth. So I think, Kim, I would advise a direct reach out on that question. So I'll recommend that. So ladies, expect to hear from Kim, or you can reach out to her right after.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. We have another question from Hazel in terms of how many inquiries do you get on an annual basis?
And that's probably again for the reservation service, I assume, or?
Right. I think the German office in terms of inquiries, general inquiries. Yeah, not necessarily. Is that something that you record in terms of inquiries? How many people inquire, make an inquiry?
Yeah, that would be something Anke counts as BVI reservation service. Yes.
This really depends. For example, especially the months is important. For example, if we have a look on September, we were very lucky because we had Interboat, and every day we had these 50, 60 people who attended our presentation, who came to the booth, who contacted us. We sent out immediately a lot of follow-up to these guests. So it was, we have the exact numbers in the report. We can also provide them. So in these months, we see a lot of interest because of the shows. So this gives us extra inquiries. And luckily, very often it ends in bookings, which is nice for me and nice for the reservation service and nice for the BVI. And in general, if it is just the daily inquiries, it's 40 or 50 per month. People who call us, it's repeaters, it's crews who plan a trip. It's very often from the shows. Weeks after a show, people call us and say, "Hey, we met during boat. Can you please send us the presentation again," or whatever. So we are in a permanent contact with a lot of clients, and we have a very, very high percentage of repeaters we are in close contact with, which is really nice. Or if we have the newsletter, it's also extra business, extra inquiries. So all these little things help to bring more people to the BVI.
Our chairman, Mrs. Delma Maduro, she had another meeting, so she joined on at the end. How do BVI industry partners connect with the travel agents? And the answer would really be through yourselves, who would
Yes.
make the connection with tour operators and travel agents. And also, I want to mention here that we will be sharing this presentation, sharing these presentations to attendees throughout the week. So we will send them probably by the end of the week. So you will be able to get a full appreciation of the information shared as well. But certainly the first reach out is to our German office or German representatives, and then they can in turn put you on to the travel agents and so forth that they work with that get quick responses. One thing speaking about responses, is that a challenge? Are there any challenges with responses and responsiveness on this side in terms of this is directed, sorry, to Anka and Nina. Is there any thing that you want to say in terms of the importance of being responsive and timely in response to the inquiries made by guests or travel agents or tour operators?
People,
Yes.
all the travel
Anke.
agents, tour operators, everybody today expects an immediate response. The good thing is that I'm really familiar with the BVI. I know a lot of partners, and whenever I send out, we are 6 hours, you're 6 hours behind. So whenever I send out my inquiry and I kindly ask for a response the next day, I usually have it. And this is absolutely good. This is so helpful because otherwise it won't work. So usually we know the partners, that they know us, and we are really happy receiving immediate responses from the partners. So only from time to time we send out a reminder. but usually we are really lucky working with the industry.
Yeah, but just to add, because Keith asked about the importance, I would say because the tour operators and travel agents, of course, have well, maybe the contact through us, or if they are in touch with you already, they have the client who's checking with them. So can you make me the offer? Is the date my preference date, is it available? So they, of course, are also happy if they receive an immediate or a quick response. So it's definitely important to get fast feedback because the travel agent needs to inform the customer. And if the customer doesn't hear back from the travel agent, or if the travel agent cannot make the booking because he doesn't hear back from the partner, then he might lose that business because they travel somewhere else. So it's definitely important to reply as soon as possible, above all if it's about availabilities and something like that. Yeah. I hope that answers your question, Keith.
Okay, I think that answers the question. I wanted to stress that point since I think it has been brought up before. We have Nadia Foy from the Hideout in Just Van Dyke. She's just saying hi.
Thank you.
And Hazel is thanking you for the informative presentation. She's of course works for us in the US, in the Mid-Atlantic, and Canada. And we also have a couple other of our staff members on from, we have Shonda on as well, a few others on. So they appreciate that there's a difference in terms of how the dealing with travel intermediaries across the board, across the globe happens. Okay, I think that's it. I think, let's see, let's make sure I have something here. Okay, so we've actually come to the end. It's now 1 o'clock. What time is it there?
7 p.m.
It's 7 p.m. for us.
7 p.m. So you see those ladies are dedicated, working overtime on our behalf. So thank you very much.
That's fine.
Thank you very much
You're
for
welcome. No
Don't worry.
problem.
Have a lovely day.
thank you very much for your presentation. I want to thank all of those who took the time out to attend. Thank you very much for attending. Those who have asked questions, participated by asking questions, we want to thank you as well. And we want to extend the invitation to you all to attend our next webinar, and that's tomorrow at 12 noon. 12. And it's from the North American market, which in this case it's including North America, Puerto Rico, and the North America and the Caribbean, actually. North America, which is US, Canada, and the Caribbean, we were calling that. So that's going to be at 12 tomorrow. And we look forward to the presentations. This one. We have, I'll just mention here that the presenters would include Paula George, Shonda Maduro. They're from our North American Business Development teams. And we have Alex Campo from our Puerto Rican agency, PR Links. And we'll also be joined by a fantastic panel of guest speakers, including our former director and president of the YHTA, Mrs. Sharon Flax Brutus, Nancy Williams of Scrub Island, and Julian Johnson of Island Time. So they will be bringing their rich insights into building stronger relationships and increasing visitor arrivals from these key markets. They're going to be talking and really sharing about working with tour operators and travel agents, which are an important source of business. So again, thanks to all for your attendance, and have a great day. And in the case of the ladies in Germany, have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Auf Wiedersehen to you all.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Have a lovely day.
Not keep going on,
Bye
Bob.
now.
What?